We offer a comprehensive service that responds to new challenges and has established our active international presence. We provide our clients with the right balance between their needs and our platform's optimal performance. We seek precise solutions for the continued use of legacy systems and, where appropriate, development of required applications. Real ID has grown thanks to the port and maritime industry's safety and security needs. Each of our modules are managed by a simulated artificial intelligence called SOLE, capable of learning scenarios and finding solutions according to the end user's requirements. Hello, and welcome to this webinar, operated and sponsored by Real ID. For your convenience, please turn your cameras and microphones off during the webinar. Real ID is a passionate and committed team. Through entertainment technology, we contribute to our clients' social and professional development. We offer a comprehensive service that responds to new challenges and has established our active international presence. We provide our clients with the right balance between their needs and our platform's optimal performance. We seek precise solutions for the continued use of legacy systems and, where appropriate, development of required applications. Real ID has grown thanks to the port and maritime industry's safety and security needs. Each of our modules are managed by a simulated artificial intelligence called SOLE, capable of learning scenarios and finding solutions according to the end user's requirements. For your convenience, please turn your cameras and microphones off during the webinar. For questions and comments, please use the chat located in the center of the bottom of your screen. We will now start the webinar.
Hello and good morning, everyone. I hope everyone can hear me. Welcome, a warm welcome to today's webinar on Industry 4.0 and its advancement in the port sector. My name is Jorge Duran. I am the chief of the Secretariat for the Inter-American Committee on Ports of the Organization of American States, also known as CIP or SIP, or in Spanish acronym. Today, we will address this important issue, or rather trend, or rather challenge, or all of those at the same time with representatives from the private sector that will be presenting different best practices that they have in their ports. And this is all geared towards the current trend and push all over the world, in fact, for digitalization, for modernization. This is, as you know, as of January 1st, 2024, the IMO has established that if you want to trade globally, if you want to trade internationally, you must, and I emphasize the must, have a single window, a maritime single window, an MSW. As such, you can imagine that the ports of Latin America, of the Caribbean, of Africa, of Southeast Asia, of parts of the world that are not yet with the technological development present in other parts of the world, are rapidly and conscientiously dedicated to digitizing and having their maritime single window. As you know, when one digitizes, it's not a matter of scanning the form and loading it to the internet. It is a matter of redesigning the processes by which that particular task takes place. In that sense, let me tell you that today's webinar has been highly popular, and we have registrations from 35 countries. So far, we have almost 50 people in the room, and they will continue to join us as this develops. But I would, in paying everybody respect, before introducing our speakers, I would like to tell you that we have people from, and I'm going to read them out, Antigua and Barbuda, Argentina, Belize, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Congo, Costa Rica, Djibouti, Dominica, Ecuador, El Salvador, Guatemala, Guyana, Honduras, Israel, Jamaica, Mexico, Morocco, the Netherlands, Nicaragua, Panama, Paraguay, Peru, St. Kitts and Nevis, Spain, Trinidad and Tobago, Turks and Caicos, United Kingdom, United States, Uruguay, Venezuela, the Virgin Islands, the British Virgin Islands, and even Zambia in Africa, along with Djibouti. So welcome all of you to this webinar and for 4.0. I see that all of our speakers are here. I'm very happy to welcome Ms. Simone Murdoch, Corporate Services and Client Experience Manager at Kingston Wharves Limited. Ms. Murdoch, most welcome to the webinar. I am also happy to welcome Mr. Victor Sam. Victor, as we know, is the General Manager of Transportadora Callao, and I'm also happy to welcome my friend Gadi Ben Moshe from AELER Technologies, the network lead. So all of you, welcome, and thank you so much for participating. The format, for your information and the audiences that will follow, is rather than me continuing to talk about the issue and importance of moving to that 4.0 economy and how that is very reliant on 100% reliant on data, on blockchains, on internet, on just-in-time operations, which in turn rely on interconnectivity, interoperability of software and hardware. So rather than me going on, I'm going to leave it to the speakers. So when I introduce Simone, Gadi, myself, and Victor will disappear from the screen. She will get her time, and Simone, please welcome. Before I do that, however, let me just briefly tell people that the reason that you're here is that you have a professional background that is very diverse, very sort of in depth. You've been at KWL, or Kingston Wharves Limited, which is a multi-purpose terminal in Kingston Harbor. And you have over 15 years in shipping operations, supply chains, corporate affairs, contributions, business growth, client relationships. So all aspects of the port operation, not only the technical or the PR or the management, but a little bit of everything, and including negotiations leading to the establishment of a Caribbean auto transshipment hub over at Kingston Wharves Terminal in 2010. I was just there in Jamaica in May and had the opportunity of visiting and I was very, very much impressed, which is part of the reason that you are here. So this is the format that we'll take. Simone, I will now give you the floor for you to do your presentations. Please be mindful about the time allotted for every speaker. And then, like I said, Victor, Gadi, and I will disappear, and we will come back for Victor's term in a minute. In the meantime, again, thank you very much. The Organization of American States, through its Inter-American Committee on Ports, is very, very proud to be able to organize these events and to create such a stir and interest in them, and largely is because of the quality of the speakers that we have. So in that sense, Simone, good morning over there in Jamaica. Please unmute yourself, and there we go. Welcome.
Thank you, George. Thank you very much. Thank you to the OAS and the team there for inviting Kingston Wharves to share in our story. Good morning as well to our fellow speakers and to the audience from all over the world, as you just outlined. I am going to share the Kingston Wharves story. I'm going to bring up the presentation. If it's not being brought up from the other side, I can share my screen.
Thank you very much. Would you mind sharing your screen, Simone, and that way you can keep pace yourself?
Okay, thank you. Just to confirm, everybody's seeing my screen?
Yes, we do. You just need to click the presentation icon on the bottom so that it blows up on the screen.
Definitely. Right.
Yes.
All right. I'm eating up my time.
Well, we can no worries on that. No worries on that.
Well, welcome. So I'll start off by just giving an opportunity to talk about Kingston Wharves just for a little bit. So persons who are not familiar, luckily, George, you were here recently. So you had actual live experience on what Kingston has to offer. But Kingston Wharves Limited is a multi-purpose and multi-user port terminal on the Port of Kingston. And that is where my office is located. So every now and again, you might hear a trailer tractor passing. But certainly the Port of Kingston is a best practice port. It is a global transshipment hub, both for containers and for motor vehicles. And for the sake of Kingston Wharves operations, it is also a sub-regional hub. Kingston Wharves, for its part, operates 9 berths on the Port of Kingston. And we like to say that we can handle anything that can get on a vessel. Our main order of the day in terms of equipment are mobile harbor cranes. And a couple of years ago, we actually had the largest, aka most powerful lifting crane in the Caribbean, which are Liber 600. But luckily that needle is always being moved in the Caribbean. So I somehow think that somebody may have copped a bigger crane. But in that time, we have also expanded because we have added 2 additional cranes to our equipment portfolio since then. But certainly our order of the day is moving anything that matters for the region, for connecting Jamaica to the world and connecting the Caribbean to the world. We do containers, as we say, the photo of some of the Liber cranes that we have. We're also renowned multi-purpose movers. So we do lumber, steel, cement, bulk, break bulk, of course. Motor vehicle is a large part of our portfolio. We operate a transshipment hub for motor vehicles, and we move cars as far as Australia and South America, cars being manufactured in the US and Mexico, and as well moving cars from those destinations in South Africa, Australia, and New Zealand to the United States and to other countries, of course, in the region. We also do grain. This is primarily a domestic operation for now, but we are always looking to expand our offerings. I mentioned before that we operate a global transshipment hub for motor vehicles, and in 2022, we were listed as the most called port for one of the leading auto liners in the world. Because of the level of our operation and turn of vehicles through Kingston that are going to the region. Kingston Wharves, as well, outside of its port terminal operations, is able and experienced logistics provider, providing comprehensive general and customized logistics services, including order fulfillment, light product assembly, and distribution. We have honed our skills through automobile supporting services because of course, it's akin to our motor transshipment operations, food and beverage, manufacturing, and petroleum and energy. We mentioned before. So currently through Kingston, we have connections to most destinations on the eastern seaboard, as well as to connections in the Caribbean, and through our motor vehicle operations to destinations all over the world. So that's a little bit about our business. Now for the order of the day, about our digital transformation. As much as our physical transformation has been significant, investment totaling more than $100 million in the past 10 years, we have akin that with our digital transformation, because the two, of course, goes hand in hand. Major in that have been our TOS upgrades. Some of the highlights have been our TOS upgrades. We're utilizing the most modern or the most latest TOS for our TOS provider. Of course, we akin that with our cloud-based security, web-based cargo clearance, our e-learning systems in terms of our internal HR practices, and of course, our internal management systems. So they've all gone ahead in terms of incorporating our advancement, our transformation, both as a regional lead logistics provider, but also the digital technology infrastructure that would be required to manage that, akin to any first world or best practice that is available anywhere else in the world. An important part of that journey has been our PCS, our Port Community System, and that was mandated by the government of Jamaica in 2012, with projects manager being the Port Authority of Jamaica. Kingston Wharves took hold of that mandate with both hands. In fact, we're known as the PCS leaders in Jamaica because we have adopted it throughout, and a strong digital infrastructure allowed us to be ahead in terms of incorporating that and integrating PCS into our operations. It was intended to establish a paperless, and as George said earlier, a single window for everything to deal with shipping and logistics in Jamaica. Its intent was for all cargo processing. Its output should have been and continues to evolve to increase the efficiency and productivity of logistics performance, while also providing data analytics and reporting capability. For KWL, we immediately moved to align our systems with the PCS. So as early as 2016, we were already building out our interchange systems to accept all manifest submissions from the PCS. So it is a central location for processing manifest data within the port community. So all our cargo types, whether it be container, whether it be cars, whether it be LCL, break bulk, all our data information is actually being fed through the port community system. And I'll show you a diagram as to how we have adopted those practices. Of course, you will know, and many in the audience, that it's an electronic format that allows for automation of the manifest handling. And the manifest data is submitted in a consistent we'll talk about that a little bit later, or is hoped to be submitted in a consistent format, irrespective of the source. So this is how we integrated with the Jamaica PCS, right? It's, of course, an online system that allows for seamless electronic sharing of data amongst the port industry player, and it has allowed for smoother and timely cargo clearance. It facilitates for all our appointments and pickup and delivery, and I will show in the following slide how we've integrated that. The PCS, which is branded Jamaica PCS, is operated by our local regulators, the Port Authority of Jamaica. It incorporates a range of players in the port community, notably our shipping agents, which of course includes, freight forwarders when it comes to the less than container loads. It incorporates Jamaica Customs, and with Jamaica Customs comes with their enterprise system, which is called Asicuda. I don't know if you can see my mouse key. And of course, in terms of delivery, it incorporates a trucker appointment system. It is that and much more, but certainly when the agents, everybody is feeding this information, firstly with the agent, feeding that single entry of all the manifest data into Jamaica PCS. It then goes to Jamaica Customs, which is validated. And once it is validated, it is then available to the other players. And of course, Kingston Wharves is one of those cheap players operating both multi-purpose terminal and also operating warehouse services. So once that information is validated, it is pulled into our system, our enterprise system, which is labeled here APM, Advantum Port Manager. And it is fed to our different stakeholders within our operations. For our terminal operations, it actually is a little bit on the back end, because we have a terminal operating system where we actually still collect the manifest data. And from that, it then pushes to the PCS to say, confirming that, yes, this cargo is here. It is available for delivery based on payments made to Kingston Wharves. And yes, it has been gated out. And of course, yet it has been gated in. So all that information is pushed from our terminal operations into the PCS. So it is available to all of the stakeholders, the agents, and of course the customers, because PCS is available to some customers, and very importantly, the truckers, so they can know when to come and pick up, because appointment system is actually made there. And the appointment system is made when we have, I can imagine it's similar in other jurisdictions, when we have deemed authorization from the agent, deemed authorization from Jamaica Customs, and deemed authorization from, in our case, an entity called ARL, which manages demurrage for many of the shipping lines operating out of Kingston. But certainly if it is operated by the line is also confirming that, yes, the shipment is validated, yes, the shipment is free to leave the port, and yes, the shipment has customs release. And of course, the Kingston Wharf, yes, our charges have been paid and can be released. Where it becomes interesting now and very important for one of the roles that I have oversight for is the client service operations. So our client service operations is one of the key handlers for information coming through the PCS, because they ensure that what we call data perfection, we ensure that it comes in the right format and everything is in the right order for it to be integrated into our enterprise system. I mentioned earlier about it being in a consistent form. We, in our journey, have had challenges in that regard because it is not always as consistent as we would have liked. But certainly that is why we have a client services operations team that ensures that information is perfected, so that when it gets to our warehouse, they're actually dealing with the most correct information available, and then they validate that by what they're seeing physically inside the warehouse or ship side. So standing on that PCS infrastructure is a number of our client services interaction. So currently, we're using that information to solidify our payment services. And for Kingston Wharves, that payment services is quite arrayed in order to give our customers the options to pay. We have a e-services platform which allows for anybody from anywhere just to have a bill of lading number and to be able to make payment on that transaction. And that payment can trigger all the other cargo deliveries associated with that shipment. So it's very important. The precursor to the e-services was the e-payment. I like to boast. I'm in an international audience now, so I'm not sure if it falls in good ranking. But certainly Kingston Wharves has been doing online payment from the early 2000s, and one of the first providers of online payment in Jamaica. So we have had an e-payment platform from early as 2003 into 2005. And we maintain that platform almost as a redundancy. And of course, when you're dealing with clients, some clients just prefer it and have decided not to move on to the new e-services. We also have mobile app. We have a mobile app that offers the same integration on the mobile phone. So any provider can integrate with our services for payment, for appointment using our mobile app. And the PCS information is also allowing us to build out our delivery services in terms of making appointment for collection or for delivery. And chief amongst that is our click and collect, which really has transformed the way that we deliver LCL goods, especially personal. In Jamaica, we have a large contingent of personal shipments that come in less than container load, and click and collect has certainly transformed how we deliver those services. And of course, it is used for the appointment system. Currently, our Jamaica PCS allows for container appointments. So we have our own platform using their information to use for our motor vehicle LCL that are not using the click and collect services for pickup of those cargo types. So I'm just sharing with you. So click and collect is one of the services that have been enabled through our PCS. And basically it's our flagship e-commerce product that is click and collect. It has introduced in 2020 and fine-tuned in 2021. We had several different animations of a delivery service, but certainly COVID accelerated the use of the click and collect service because everybody was deemed or saw contactless delivery as the primary way to do business. So this simply meant that with click and collect, you could do everything online. What Kingston Wharves sought to do was to integrate all the different interactions a customer would do, that with an agent, that with customs, that with the terminal or the warehouse, and have it under one flagship service program, which was called Click and Collect. And as it indicated, with just a click, you would be able to pay all those charges, which Kingston Wharves would have updated, and then the next step would have been to pick up cargo. And that process at the wharf could be as quick as a 15 minutes pickup from gate in to gate out. And that certainly was our goal. Starting with good...
Jody, the barrel reach, come help me. Hi, I'm from Click and Collect. We make clearing barrels with Kingston Wharves, quick and easy. In 3 simple steps. Sign up, pay online, collect.
Wow, it's that easy?
Yes, it's safe and easy. Simply click and collect.
Oh man, you saved me a lot of time.
For more information, call or WhatsApp 876-577-8905.
So certainly that was one of the communications that we would have had around Click and Collect, because contactless service significantly shifted the way in which we served our customers. Certainly, we can't say wholeheartedly that we were the stimulus, but the government of Jamaica, through the Jamaica Customs, has moved to take it one step further, because they have since drafted their own contactless service, which will be rolled out throughout the industry. So it is going to be now mandatory. I know in many jurisdictions, it may not be the case where customers actually come to pick up their LCL at the terminal, but certainly for ocean freight in Jamaica, personal shippers are allowed to come and pick up their cargo. And what the government, with the infrastructure of a PCS and online payment at Kingston Wharves and a digital infrastructure, is able to now move it to an entire online service where persons are just going to be interacting with the wharf for pickup. So certainly that is it is a flagship achievement for us, and one that has gotten certainly some recognition overall in terms of our digital transformation, and certainly overall in terms of our service delivery, and was recognized by this same organization with our award for technology and innovation a couple of years ago. To say the least, this forms a part of an overall investment in terms of Kingston Wharves infrastructure, which we are doing in terms of our terminal logistics and developing our digital infrastructure. An important part of the PCS as well is how it supports our robust security apparatus, ensuring that we have the best and validated data as to what cargo is here, what cargo contents are here, and also who is authorized to handle the cargo. So certainly it dovetails into an already significant security apparatus, and through the project partnership with the Port Authority, we have been able to implement even more integrated electronic security management systems that has facilitated various types of technological solutions for the industry. You know, Kingston Wharves is entrenched in technology into our physical developments. Two key projects to come on stream in the next 6 months is our $30 million Bird 7 redevelopment project, which is just about coming to an end, which allows for an expansion of our berthing capacity with our expanding berthing quay and ability to hold more work and facilitate Panamax vessel on our continuous quay and work them simultaneously. The other is a $25 million, 300,000 square feet integrated warehouse, which is under its first phase, intended to bolster our logistics and logistics capability. All of this, of course, embedded in digital technology, is being utilized through energy saving mechanisms, refrigerated equipment and automation, and digital processes, of course, will be utilized. Kingston Wharves will continue its transformational journey in terms of a sustainable future, because it's only evident that everything that we do must be sustainable. And a large part of that is how we can utilize digital technology to enable us to use the best of our resources. We'll be also leveraging our special economic zone with all of the build out that we're doing. And of course, the capital investment that I've just mentioned is an important part of that in terms of diversifying the type of cargo that we handle and how we handle that. That has been a lot. I hope I haven't expanded my time, but thank you for the extra 5 minutes.
Thank you, Simone. That was absolutely fine and very, very interesting. I must tell the audience that Kingston Wharves was the recipient of the 2021 American Association of Port Authorities and CIP award for port excellence. And you guys, as you know, won the 2021 award on the category of technology and innovation. And it is very clear to us why. Indeed, I would like to thank you very much for your presentation. I think you made very good points. The PCS in Jamaica is in fact the first working PCS in the Caribbean back when it started, and it was so for a long time. I now can proudly, because the SIP was involved, tell you that Barbados has implemented successfully another PCS that they developed on their own. So you guys are certainly the transshipment hub of the Caribbean, as you pointed that out. I loved your emphasis on electronic data sharing, on interoperability, on sharing these technological platforms to add both traceability, which adds obviously some sort of security to the whole operation and process. So you're doing all of that, and I was very much impressed. Thank you very much. Good luck with the upcoming projects. Before I turn it over and introduce our next speaker, I wanted to point out or emphasize a point that you made, which is everything is triggered once payment is made. So when you have concurrent processes and parallel processes going on at the same time, it's very important that the detonator, the trigger for that process is actually receiving payment. And finally, where have you and click here to pay have been all my life. I am a person who is technologically illiterate and handicapped, and what I need is those simple steps: sign up, click here, come pick it up. So congratulations on that, Simone. Indeed, well met.
Thank you.
So now I'm going to ask our next speaker, Victor, Mr. Victor Sam, if he could put his camera. There he is. Victor, before I introduce Victor, let me tell you that indeed Transportadora Callao has been the 2023 recipient of the Maritime Award of the Americas, and that was presented to Victor and to Transportadora Callao last June in Roatan during a ministerial meeting. They won an award for competitive digitalization, and you shall now see why. Victor himself, he's got a BS in civil engineering. He's got a Master of Science in Project Management from Northwestern. He's been a general manager for over 25 years in concessions, mining, infrastructure, and construction. And he's worked at Transportadora Callao for a good number of times. So indeed, we met and he presented, and he's got a very impressive presentation on what technology has done for Transportadora Callao to make it, as is the objective with the PCS, and we saw from to create more revenue, to be more efficient, to improve the logistics, to reduce times of wait. While you reduce times of wait, you also reduce the carbon footprint of whatever's waiting, whether it's a truck or a ship or whatever, to also contribute to sustainability and reducing carbon footprints. So the benefits of digitalization and utilizing technology in a smart fashion are really, the spin-offs of the benefits and externalities are really worthwhile. So Victor, my friend, mi querido amigo, the floor is yours. Please go ahead, share your screen, and we'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you again.
Thank you. 1 minute, please. Ahí está. ¿Se compartió?
Ahí ya veo la presentación, Victor. Now, as you can see, this is a disease. There's several technologically handicapped people around, and so please be patient.
Thank you very much. Well, my name is Victor Sam. I am a general manager of Transportadora Callao. First of all, I would like to thank you, the Inter-American Commission of Port, to invite me to this webinar, Industry 4.0. It's an honor to be here. It's an honor to expose to you. Thank you for letting us share our experience in digital transformation. Before we begin the presentation, I would like to show you what Transportadora Callao is and what Transportadora Callao do. For that, we prepare a small video, 2 minutes video. 2 minutes video will give you more than 1,000 words.
Drives the national economy, making Peru one of the most important mining countries in the world. Peru's mining activity is distributed throughout most of its territory. However, It is the port of Callao where the mineral concentrates from the mines of the center of the country are stockpiled and stored to be exported all over the world. Thanks to the effort and union of imported business groups, since 2014, we have a shipping terminal and tubular conveyor belt for mineral concentrates in the port of Callao. This complex starts out in an area adjacent to the state-of-the-art warehouses of Peru Bar and Impala and the central yard of the Central Andean Railroad. Here we find an open access tower where the ore concentrates arrive from the warehouses by means of secondary conveyor belts. At the transfer tower, transportation begins with a closed and hermetic tubular conveyor belt that operates at a rate of 2,000 tons per hour. Transports the mineral concentrates, isolated from the environment, to the specialized mineral shipping terminal located in the port of Callao. The total length of this hermetic tubular belt is 3.2 kilometers, which goes through the industrial zone of Petroperu's tank terminal, bordering the Callao Naval Base and the area of the mouth of the Rimac River to the port of Callao, so that it goes through areas of industrial use, totally isolated and far from any homes. Upon arriving at the anchorage near the North Breakwater in the port of Callao, it connects to a transfer building where ore concentrates are laid out on a 300-meter tripper belt in a closed gallery and transported to the new pier and shipping terminal, which has a 313-meter-long access bridge. Finally, the ore concentrates arrive at the ship loader, an efficient and environmentally safe equipment that unloads them directly into the ship's holds. This specialized and exclusive pier is located near the port's north breakwater and is 218 meters long. It can handle vessels of up to 60,000 tons. In 20 years, its shipping capacity will reach up to 6 million metric tons of concentrate per year. During the last 12 months of operation, it handled 3.2 million metric tons. The fully mechanized system operates under the supervision of highly qualified personnel, under strict quality and safety controls, increasing shipping efficiency by more than 500%, resulting in a considerable reduction in ocean freight costs. This modern facility is characterized by the fact that the entire process, from leaving the warehouses to loading at the new dock, is carried out in a closed and secure manner. The concentrates are isolated from the environment at all times. This process eliminates more than 130,000 truck trips per year between the warehouses and the port of Callao. Decongest the access to the docks of the port and leaves more space for the handling of containers and general cargo for both export and import. Not only does this significantly increase the efficiency and competitiveness of mining exports, but it also favors other shippers. But mainly, it benefits the population near the port and contributes to the social and economic development of the country.
Well, let's start in the beginning. I would like to mention to this day, Transportadora Callao export more than 27 million tons of concentrates, load more than 1,500 ships. We are actually a green company because we change transportation in trucks by electrical conveyor and a chip loader. Well, currently the port sector faces many changes, among them efficiency, sustainability, innovation. To reach that changes, we developed a CEO's Web. This is a project that started in 2019, just before the pandemic. We have three main objectives in the development of the CEO's Web. First is optimize processes with automatizations, improving of operational efficiency by lowering timings on processes and having a better risk management. And third, becoming a viable proposal to connect Transportadora Callao with the PUSE, that is the single window, and the port community systems. Now, our systems improves information management, optimize day-to-day processes, control access, all the access to our terminal, and is a great tool in order to handle environmental and safety practice. Well, let's start in the beginning. In 2019, the pandemic, well, in 2020, the pandemic changed our way of work and the development of CEOs was accelerated. We need to now, in that moment, we need to work with less personally, physically on site. We need to access information in real time. All that information in that in 2020 were in Excel spreadsheets, were printed in Word sheets. And we need to create a tool that's put all that information in the cloud. Also, we need access to all of information in real time. We need to digitalize formats, permits, safety tools, and other documents. Also demonstrate legal compliance, that means all our procedures should obey the law. We need to process numbers, statistics, information, and share that information with all the peers in the organization. Actually, we need to put all the information in one place. CEOPS has a lot of tools to track performance, including sending automatization alerts when something is not meeting the standards. For the CEOPS design, we need to re-engineer all our processes in order to make it shorter in time and optimize their control. CEOPS has the capacity to recognize mistakes in the entry information. And when a mistake is detected, CEOPS send an alert to the process owners in order that the information should be reworked before getting to CEOPS. The problems caused for different sources of information like paper, Excel sheets, verbal agreements in meetings are now solved, putting everything in one place. Well, let's get directed to CEOPS. I told you a little bit of what CEOPS do. With CEOPS, we can visualize all the people or all the jobs in the terminal at the real time. We can see who is working in what, in which area. Other application of CEOPS is the capacity to build reports on quality, on level of services, of schedule, cost reports, and really the most important is how we can get all the approbation for our work in CEOPS online, and also the control with QR of all the persons that are working. For that, I would like to share a couple of CEOPS dashboards. Let me check 1 minute. I'm going to, I can go to, here it is. This is our CEOPS web. No? This is the entrance dashboard. In the left part is the today's operations. In the middle is the month schedule, the scheduled cargo, the projected, the delta of the month, also the projection for this year. On the left part, we have the levels of services. These levels of services are contractual. We have a level of service of BERTED and another level of service of operation. That means the ship that arrived and operates today accomplished the level of service of BERTED. We attended in 2.8 hours. The maximum is 4. And the start operation in 1.8 hours. The maximum is 3. With CEOPS, we can control the operations, the services, the access in the terminal. Also, we can do inspections. We working with safety, maintenance, and human resources. I'm not going into all these modules. I will just go into the first two to show you what CEOs can do. In the operations, for example, we have the schedules. In this screen, we can see the 1,577 ships that we attended since Transportadora Callao start to operate. Let's get into one. For example, in the vessel Hamburg team, we have all the data of the vessel, and we have a really important connection. This is a connection with SUNAT in real time. SUNAT is the IRS in Peru. No? What sent Transportadora Callao to SUNAT? We send the Declaración Única de Aduanas. This is the document for export. When you get the green light in Declaration of Única de Aduanas, you are allowed to export. That means you are allowed to load the ship. Before that, this declaration was sent with a supervisor in a motorcycle to SUNAT. Now we have a direct channel with them. Also, another important report is for a regulator. It's called OCITRAN. It's the concession regulator in Peru. Transportadora Callao is really heavy regulated, and the OCITRAN report show what happened with every ship. No, this is a report of the operation of the ship, of the time distribution of what happened with effective time of operation. This is a stop time for lunch. No, and you can get the classification of by hour and by day, and of what happened with a single ship in Transportadora Callao. OCITRAN used this operation this report in order to calculate the level of services of Transportadora Callao. Transportadora Callao is committed to accomplish a high level of service, and I can say that since we started the concession 9 years ago, all the trimester we accomplished the level of services. Also, we use the CEOs in order to control the access to the terminal. This is a dashboard that can show you all the areas in the terminal. We divided the terminal in 3 areas. This is the dock and the ship loader, zone A, area A, the tubular conveyor, area B, the access point and administrative offices, area C. In area A, B, or C, you can see how many people are working now. In area now we are in operations, that's means nobody works in area A or B. But in area C, that's open access and administrative office, we have 53 persons working now. So we have the name of the person who are working, name of the person, the company that belongs, and what is he doing in that area. No? Also, we can check all the general works scheduled for doing today in that area, and the high-risk job scheduled to work today in those areas. For example, in area C, is scheduled to work 2 high-risk jobs. If you may click in one, you can see which company is doing the job. In this case, Mezzo Autotech is working in a specialized closing and maintenance of the open access. Mezzo Autotech is a really good mining contractor. If you continue to explore, we have all the documentation of the company Mezzo Autotech, and we can check all the documentation of that particular job. All these documents are reviewed and approved by Transportadora Callao. How do you know it's approved? Is because the status is in green. No? You can check the emergency plan, the environmental impact plan, the matrix for risk, the matrix of safety. No? technical specifications. All this information actually is required by law, and Transportadora Callao is responsible by law to approve this information. Also, we can check all the people involved in that particular job. Metso is working with more than 10 persons in the closing. No? Here we have the name of the person, the identity, the telephone, the email, the documents that validity the capacity of the person to do that job, and one by one is approved by Transportadora Callao in order to realize that job. Also, inside this dash, we can find all the equipment that the contractor is going to do in that use in that operation, and also is evaluated and approved by Transportadora Callao. This is this module, the access module, is a module that we use not just to control the accesses, but it's just to control the subcontractors, just to control the risk management of every work that we make in the terminal. In order to continue with the time of the presentation, or if you would like to know more about our system, you're invited to write us and we can show you. Quiero regresar a Zoom. Ah, no, a Zoom no, a Prezi.
Creo que la tienes en un tab arriba que dice Industry 4.0 por Diego Silva.
Ahí está, listo.
Vale.
Ahí está.
Mining.
Well, CEOS was built to be sustainable on time. That is because we keep all the physical files have been reduced to a minimum. That's make a positive environmental impact. No? We reduce energy and resources on printing documents and reports. It's sustainable because CEOs generate preventive data, and that preventive data make us give us ways in order to control the risk of the works that we're going to execute in the terminal. It can create automatically messages to the managers and supervisors. We create also to CEOs a series of video tutorials when a new company, when we get a new supplier of Transportadora Callao, the supplier gets automatically an email with a clear instruction, including video tutorials, how they can get into CEOs and how they can start to develop their work inside CEOs in order to execute it finally physically in the terminal. In a short period of time, we see how much this software has improved every day of Transportadora Callao. Well, with CEOs, we have 17 indicators that show significant improvement. First was the interconnectivity. We can we have connectivity with, for example, with Sunat and all our clients. No, that also making the operations online in the cloud improve 60% of the time. The review of documentation, permits, and technical specifications. Also, we can strengthen the personal control because we can triangulate data within accesses in Transportadora Callao. We can triangulate permits, technical specification, validations of personals. Now we can get a report for the client or a report for the regulator in just 1 minute. Before that, it took 1 week per report. No?
Víctor, querido, ¿te puedo pedir que le aceleres?
Sí. Also, we reduce in 50 days the observations controls, and we have 100% control of our suppliers. CEOs can work with private entities like Transportadora Callao, like Tramars, our port operator. We have 3 shipping agencies working with us, 2 mineral warehouses connected, 44 port services provided companies connected. These are pilotage, fueling, towing, waste disposal, diving, and 100 general services and maintenance providers. Also, we work with public entities like SUNAT and OCITRAN. Well, we start in the 2019 before the pandemic. The pandemic accelerated the development of CEOs. In 2020, we launched the system of scheduling, operation and scheduling. In the next year, we also launched the registration, authorization, and terminal control module. The last year, we launched the supervision module, and now we are launching maintenance module and controlling all the preventive maintenance through CEOs. Actually, we have a $100,000 budget. We already invest $60,000 in CEOs. I tell you, this is the money best invest in Transportadora Callao. We have expected the expected results in medium or long term is interconnection with CCTV for a facial recognition. No? We decrease accident rate. Since CEOs, we don't have any accident, we lose time. We have an integration with a single window and the port community system. And we raise the standard of environment and safety and health of service providers. Transportadora Callao, despite it's a port company, we follow the mining law. And the mining law is really high law in Peru. It's very difficult to accomplish. Also, we are implementing biometrical technology in order to control the access. Well, as a conclusion, we say CEOs save us time, let us in control of our terminal. Nobody gets into the terminal without passing for CEOs. No? We can create several reports for all the information is inside. And that sets a standard of excellence for the future for us. Well, that's all my presentation. 20 minutes. Sorry for these 5 extra minutes.
That's fine, Victor. Thank you very much for rushing it up there at the end. Let me start my video here. Thank you. Again, it's clear why you were, Transportadora Callao in Lima, in Peru, was the recipient of the 2023 Maritime Award of the Americas in competitive digitalization. You started by saying something that I constantly repeat, which is process re-engineering. When you are going to adapt yourself to an online platform, you need to re-engineer the processes. I'm very happy that you had such a great result. That result of diminishing the wait by 50 days on average. And I saw some of the numbers on your PSYOPs platform, which is in real time. So that's very impressive, about ships being there 9 hours and leaving, according to the time period. So that's very efficient. Indeed, you have real-time solutions. You've improved your logistics in several areas, including those auxiliary industries and subcontractors that you were talking about, which are somehow all a part of the ecosystem that you have created. Important to highlight again the need of interoperability and interconnectivity with other government agencies, such as in your case the IRS, but customs as well. And you have a link with the sort of foreign trade window as well. So we saw here how the benefits of improved logistics improved not only the business and the times and the revenue and the productivity of the terminal itself, but also how saving time in those aspects reduces, like I was saying, your carbon footprint and contributes to the sustainability of the environment. Indeed, the conveyor belt that you did has done wonders for port-city relation, as that conveyor belt guarantees that there's no particles from the mining ores that you transport in the air. So congratulations, Victor.
Thank you.
Again, we will be back with you and Simone at the end of Gadi's presentation so that we can ask some questions from you. Thank you very much, Victor.
Thank you very much.
And now I'd like to welcome Gadi Ben Moshe. Gadi, as I said before, let me get my glasses, virtual glasses. He is a port network lead at AELER, the new generation of smart container company, and managing director of Marine Innovators. And he offers consulting services in digital transformation, cybersecurity. He's an expert in everything that I am not, in everything technological, innovational, and digital. He is a former chief information officer of the Israel Ports Company, in which he was responsible for leading the nationwide port community system. So an expert on PCS. And additional, he's a vice chair of the International Association of Ports and Harbors, the famous IAPH, which is a member of the CIP as well. And he has been collaborating in policy. He's been participating with the IMO, with International Port Community System Association, with the United Nations. Anyway, he is a technology expert who, when I met in the port of Tel Aviv, explained several of the PCS things of Israel. Very impressive how Israel has always been at the forefront of technology in this area. And today I believe we are going to get some sort of treat by him presenting the smart container, which is in fact what it sounds like, a smart container that talks to you and tells you what's going on. But Gadi, hermano, the floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Gracias, Jorge, and thank you and Steve for inviting me here. And thank you for Simone and Victor for very impressive solutions that you presented. Very, very impressive. But let me take you to something else, to something that is the center of what most of the ports are doing, the container ports. And let's talk about the containers, and let's talk about the smart container, how it can reshape the port's operation. Because, you know, containers for 60 years, they didn't change much. But now, AELER is one of the companies, as Jorge said, that is doing a new container from composite materials and also with embedded IoT. And as Jorge said, I'm also vice chair of the Data Collaboration Committee in IAPH. And let me start with that, with a white paper that we published last year. The white paper is the mindset shift towards innovation in ports. And this is a short white paper. Also, it's innovative doing short because today you can do so short white papers. But what we did there, it's a guidance, some fact sheets that talk about different aspects of innovation and how in ports they can promote innovation. The chapters, we have 6 chapters in this white paper. The first one is why is the time now. The third one is about how we put innovation into the organizational structure. And the other ones talk about the tools for innovation. But one relevant chapter of this white paper is the second, that it says that innovation in ports, it's not only about technology. And again, Jorge said about that we have to talk about what about process innovation, what about business model innovation, and other things. So in this, in light of this fact or this belief that it's not only about technology, I also in a recent published PTI article that I wrote, I said that it is time to move from talking about the IoT technology, and IoT is all over our jargon, but let's talk about the innovative solutions that it enables, such the smart container. So let's stop talking about the technology. Again, Jorge said that I'm very known about the technology. but I think that it is not the important part. The important part is what this technology brings and which solution it brings to our customers. And I want to show you a number of use cases in which the smart containers, such as AELER's, can reshape the operations. So let's start with automation, because when we talk about automation, we talk about today about mainly autonomous ships, autonomous cranes, shuttle carriers, autonomous vehicles, and also autonomous or semi-autonomous gates. But what about the smart container? What is the role of the smart container in port automation? And I would like to share with you two use cases that, in our opinion, a smart container can help in port automation. Let's start with the first one. Then Simon told about the great PCS that they developed in Jamaica. And let's combine it with this example. So a smart container is approaching the terminal. Because it's a smart container have a lot of sensors inside. One of them is a GPS that can tell us what is the exact location of this container. So the container knows that is arriving the terminal, let's say in 2 hours from now. As Simon said before, if we get into the terminal, but we didn't send the necessary required documents or information, this container will reach a terminal and will be stuck in the gate, can't get in, and will make some queues there. So it's not efficient. We want to be sure that before these containers reach the terminal, all the pre-required information was submitted. So the container can send the PCS or through the PCS to the terminal and ask a question. Is all the information in order? Can I get this container through the gate? The PCS or the terminal can check if all this information was received, and then it can send to the smart container operator control tower this green light. Great, come, bring your container. But what happens if it's not a green light? There is some information missing, and we want to prevent this container from getting into the gate and making some bottlenecks there. So because the information wasn't received, maybe also the port operator doesn't know yet who is the customer, who is the freight forwarder. But yes, the smart container operator knows, so he will send to the freight forwarder or the shipper and notify him, hey, you have 2 hours, please send this information before this container will reach the terminal. So as you see here, it's innovation in a process that today is somebody maybe checking the website, somebody sending or feeding information into some web page. But here we are talking about a smart container system talking with a smart PCS, and by this connection, we can reduce congestion in our gates. So this is one of the use cases, but another one that is also related to the gates today in ports where there are smart gates. They are recognition of the number of the container by OCR, by reading taking a picture of the container and taking out the OCR, the number of the container printed on the container. But in a smart container, the smart container IoT already knows what is the number of the container. You don't need to use this OCR that sometimes when it's dirty or when it's faded the color, it doesn't read the number of the container. But what about the container number recognition at the gate, or also at the crane? That it can be the gantry crane or the STS crane. What about reading having the number of the container without OCR? Just communication from the smart container into the TOS, into the smart gate, and then we have direct connection. We don't need some intermediary that has its problems, and we have also by that we can also prevent counterfeiting of the container number. So those are two examples about the container, the smart container, and how it can help in port automation. Now, there are a lot of important stakeholders in the maritime supply chain, but one very important is the customs. Let's see how a smart container can also help customs. And for that also we have two examples. One of them is track and trace and some trigger event, and let me get you through this process. So we know that the smart container knows its exact location. It also can report the current location periodically. Okay, I'm here and I'm exact where I am. And also the control tower of the smart container can operate algorithms and see if the container has passed some predefined areas. So if we define that this container have to be from point N to point B, if there is a route deviation or cross of the previously defined geofences, the area that this container have to move, maybe inside the port or inside the country, it can be identified as an illegal activity. And this illegal activity or suspicions of illegal activity, it can be reported immediately to the customs, and then the customs can add it to the risk score and then trigger or not a physical inspection of the container. But at this, with as much information, first-hand information, a container is telling you where it is. Okay, it's not somebody typing in, yes, I saw this container. There is not some camera seeing the container. The container itself is saying it's first-hand information. And when you have first-hand information, it's reliable. And for the risk management of the customs, it's invaluable information. But let's see, not only that, there is another use case that the customs can use, because the IoT in the smart containers can also detect opening or closing of the doors. So opening or closing the doors outside the predefined area also can be identified as an illegal activity. So if the smart container sensors are detecting such unauthorized activity, it can report in real time a number of parameters. One of them is what happened, the door was opened, was closed, what happened, where was the location in which this action took place, and exactly when it took place. This information, given the context, because if the container is inside and before the export is inside the exporter warehouse, there's no problem to open and closing it. But if we know that it was already on its way to the port, it can be considered as some illegal action and need some extra inspection. But this is also for the positive way, because if the customs knows by sure that this door wasn't opened since the last inspection until now, okay, it also reduces the risk score, and the customs can skip some physical inspection of this container. So as you see, it's not only the negative, also the positive side, that all of those containers that weren't opened in all the transport of the container won't be a need for a physical inspection for this container. And this, we talk about automation, we talk about how it can redefine and reshape also the customs operation related to ports. And remember, you can say, okay, got it, that it's ports. What about how it affects us? It's a lot of activity, and you know that. and also related to reading the seals on the container. But maybe in the future we won't need a seal if the smart container can tell you if it was opened or not. So take it into account. Talking about digitalization, and it's great, and Jorge said about how it's important to keep on going in digitalization, but as much of digitalization it's today in ports, it amplified the risk of cybersecurity. And I can tell you that also regarding smart containers can help in some way, not only because smart port trends are making the risk higher, but the smart container can also help on cybersecurity, and this is the final use case that I want to share with you. And imagine that, suppose that because of a cyber attack, the TOS database, the great TOS database that we heard before in some of the ports, can be restored. It was totally damaged, and we have to manually count and register each of the sometimes thousands of containers in my yard. But imagine that if the yard is full of smart containers with IoT devices such as AELER, they can instantly transmit their identification, the number, and also their location. Not only the location near, no, the exact location, also which is the place in the stack. So by click of a button, we can update the database of the terminal operating system, and we can save hours of manual work, and it's a quicker recovery from the cyber attack. So I hope that you saw a number of uses, because a smart container, we are reinventing the role of the container in the pods. Okay, it's not just a metal box, now it's a composite box, very smart. And to do that, we need to do it with the important stakeholders. We are doing it with customs. We are working with WCO regarding that. We are working with PCS and doing some pilots with them, how we can help. And we'll be happy also to innovate together with the participants of this webinar. And you are welcome to contact me and see how we can reshape the post operation using the smart container. So, muchas gracias y espero que la próxima vez sea en español. Jorge, a vos.
Thank you very much, Gary. I'm going to now ask our two speakers, Simone and Victor, to please join us again on the main room here, so that I may address some questions. First of all, Simone, Jamaica, through and with the help of technology companies and under the purview of the Port Authority of Jamaica, with whom I liaison on an everyday basis almost. As you know, it is the national port authorities who sit at the CIP. So, what do you think you can share with us? 2 or 3 key lessons that you can share with us for the benefit of the audience in your PCS journey. I don't know if you want to name them the 3 main challenges or the 3 main learning lessons, whatever you think is best that would be of use to our audience. So Simone, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Jorge. I think for us in the Jamaican experience, and I'm sure my colleagues at the Port Authority would agree, would have to be the first thing would be about people. And in order to extract the maximum benefit from a PCS system, people and processes will need to be in lockstep with the technology. So we found that Kingston Wharves has gone forth in terms of adopting the port community systems and the digital infrastructure that is required to manage a platform like that. But many of our customers and many of our stakeholders have not yet adopted it in all its sense, so that we can maximize on the full benefits. And of course, I mentioned it twice in my presentation that there needs to be certainly more structure around, more stringent structures around the standards for data submission, because if if we are working with a certain sort of formats and the clients and the shipping lines are not working with the same standards, it's like going back to manual data entry. So we would have lost the benefit there.
Thank you very much, Simone. I think that is it. I mean, I'm sure that we could have a whole webinar about just the lessons learned on this journey that you know is full of insights and new information and new ways of doing things in order to advance. So thank you very much, Victor. In your case, you developed the silos. Transportadora Callao developed the silos, which I congratulate you for developing it yourself, writing the code yourself. Tell me why you did that instead of buying one of the many available products on the market.
Yeah, well, before we decide develop ourselves, we explore the whole market, and we found several good software and good solutions, but all those good software solutions were oriented to containers, and none of the solution was really custom for bulk, and in our case is dirty bulks, mineral concentrates. We didn't find a solution or a vendor that satisfy us,
right?
And for that we decided to make it ourselves. It was a
Congratulations. Congratulations. I'm going to take a minute here to express, this is just my opinion to the audience, but on every case that I know of, developing your own technological solution is exponentially better than buying a product off the market that will be adapted to your needs. If it wasn't developed with your needs in mind at first, then it's just going to be a patch. I can tell you horror stories of port authorities, terminals that have gotten their maritime single window, their PCS, their PCN, their CDM even from the market with horrible results. And then I can tell you many success stories where developing their own solution brings immense sort of satisfaction and relief, and you can always grow it and so forth. So I understand that the reason these products are in the market is because they fulfilled their original mission. It was they're developed for a particular port or port authority or country, and then what do they do with it? So they go out there and sell it, and there is a market for this because not everybody has the capability to develop it themselves, obviously, right? So there is a market for and a demand for this. But again, in my opinion, based on the experiences I've seen, it is very worthwhile to try and develop, do yourself like Victor has done. So, so thank you for that. I fully agree. Gary, let me ask you, if we today have containers attached to IoT or Internet of Things devices, what is the difference between one of these containers with attached to an IoT device and your smart container?
Yeah, and again, there is a lot of talk about IoT attached to an existing container, and it's now also Hapag-Lloyd is doing a lot of work on that, and others. But when you attach an external device into your container, it's something also that it can be changed. It's not, as I said before, you can know the number of the container if somebody can change it and put another one. Okay, you can't rely on that. This is one of the differences. And also the sensors are all in one corner of the container. When you build an IoT as embedded IoT as part of building a new container, you put the sensors all around the container, and then the accuracy of the data is higher. And also, as I said, the possibility to recognize that this information was directly received from this container is something that you can be sure of. So this is the main differences as I see. Okay,
thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let me go back to Simone in beautiful Kingston in Jamaica. Probably going to have herself a good curry chicken or jerk pork for lunch. God, that is good food, man. Anyway, Simone, tell us, why don't we look at the future a little bit? Why don't you tell me what you see as expanding role or possible future niches or activities or markets or whatever that the PCS could do for Jamaica?
So I'm going to put on an IT hat, which I'm not known for, but certainly our IT directors and our IT stakeholders say, certainly for the case for Kingston Wharves, what our next step would want to be is for the interplay of the systems so that they become truly connected. So PCS being connected to the various enterprise systems, so they become effectively smart and is able to sense when a process has ended and another one needs to begin, and also to predict what is going to happen next. So in terms for our systems to really speak to each other, and in terms of that data perfection, that we can incorporate themes like artificial intelligence in terms of finding out what is garbage and what is actual data, so that we don't have to have a team filtering out what is good data and what is not good data when it is uploaded into the PCS. So that certainly will give us a helping hand in terms of ensuring that we have the right information. And then, of course, lastly, the industry, after many years of resistance, is actually talking of electronic bill of lading across the board, not only for container, but for all cargo types. So certainly we're excited to look at that because that will allow for us to have, as you said earlier, a lower carbon footprint, but also more efficient, all around a more efficient industry.
A more efficient industry is right. Well, one of the benefits or the advantages, or however you want to call it, of technology is precisely that, trying to increase the efficiency of our operations, of our processes, in order to save time and money and be more productive and offer a better service to our clients and colleagues as well. So I totally get it. In fact, I think it's great that you guys have a vision for the future on this. So congratulations, Simone. Once I'm done asking this round of question, I will wrap it up and I'll give you the word for a short closing and goodbye to the audience, and then we'll be done. Victor, as I was talking about and congratulating you on the development of your proprietary tool, what was, from your point of view, one or two of the most challenging things in the implementation of your SIOPs in Transportadora Callao, given the fact that you developed it? What was the biggest hurdle that you encountered?
First, one was make the supervisors use it, because in the beginning everything was on paper. Everybody signed the paper, but nobody controlled the time. But after that, when we moved to SIOP, when someone not take too much time to approve, SIOP send an indicator to his boss, and the boss talk with the supervisor. Why you don't approve? But I approve. No, the report say you don't do it, and people start to at the beginning reject because they don't want to be controlled by a software. But after we make some corrections with the supervisors, everything flow. And at the beginning, in October, we have our shutdown, a 1 week shutdown schedule once a year. At the beginning, in order to make the shutdown in October, we need to start in December of the day before, with paperwork, revisions. Now we can start it on May, June in order to make our shutdown. It save us a lot of time.
Indeed. Well, thank you very much. In fact, one of the advantages of implementing a digital solution, whether it is a port CDM, a collaborative decision-making software, which is a very basic step in digitalizing the rest of the port operations, as well as a maritime single window, is to get rid of what you just said. I remember the time where you wanted to export something and you needed to have a pink form that was signed by a particular person, and then you had to take the blue form to the other window and get a stamp from, Ms. Murdoch here. But then I had to take the green copy to Gadi because he had to do, he was the shipper. And then I had to take the white form to the shipping agent because it was, so this is why, and I exaggerated there a little bit, but that's in essence what these softwares and what these digital solutions intend to solve, which is you have everything in one place with everyone in the same place, which is why my next question is going to be to Gadi about security, and I'm going to take the question that Hans Rook, good friend, that put in the chat, Gadi, and I'm sure you could read it there, but I will, for the benefit of the audience, go ahead and read it. Hans says, "Dear friend, I know you are an expert in cybersecurity. What about the smart container safety? How is that electronic information protected?" So please go ahead.
Thank you, Hans, for the question. And cybersecurity is something that today we have to take into account, and we call it cybersecurity by design. Okay, in the past, people didn't take much into account cybersecurity when developing solutions. And for that reason, today we have to put, as you said, Jorge, before, some patches to help us guard those services and products. When we talk about this smart container, we are introducing, as I said, cybersecurity by design, and there are a number of actions that we take to ensure that this information it's not changed, okay, and not leaked. The information goes from the IoT device to the control tower of the smart containers through a secure channel that nobody can change or alter the information or cut the information. But as I said, in cybersecurity, you can't never say never, okay, because it's not where, if you will be attacked, it's when it will be attacked. So we also in AELER, we are doing a penetration test and other measures to be sure that what we promise to our customers, it's alive and kicking. So these are mainly the measures that we take. Yes, cybersecurity, it's very important today in the developing of any service or product.
Right. Thank you very much. I agree. I think that, and it is a never-ending story with me talking to people about the importance of cybersecurity. If in fact technology helps us avoid human errors, like earlier Simone was saying about the manifests and trying to do the manifests in a safe fashion, and of course the manifest, which is the cargo of the ship. You know, when you copy it several times, first you copy it and you pass it to me, and then I got to go on my own before I pass it to Victor and so forth. Well, several things can happen. First, errors, just human errors. I can miss something, or I cannot, just by mistake. But also, if I were a corrupt officer, I could begin. It lends itself to human interaction, human error and corruption, if you will. Now you implement digital systems, boom, and this is gone. There will be no more of that. But now you've opened up your door to the cyber criminals. So cyber is, it is not a responsibility of the technology department or the information technology department, is everyone's responsibility. Cybersecurity starts at the top with the CEO, and it includes the personnel doing the cleaning and because every day the hackers, the cyber criminals would not get more creative with how to penetrate your network. So indeed, we will have, in fact, soon, I believe in September or October, we will have another, event in English about port security, and certainly cyber will be one of the topics. So with that, ladies and gentlemen and friends, I thank you so much for your interest in SIP activities. I want to thank our speakers, Simone, Victor, and Gadi, for their time and their participation and knowledge sharing. And with that, I'm going to give each of you the floor so that you may say goodbye to the audience, and keep your eyes peeled. I think we have already 3 seminars or rather webinars planned for September. So keep your eyes open and your emails. And if not, you can always go to portalcip.org. Again, that's portalcip.org to find out about our next training events. So Simone.
Well, Jorge, I mean, for the sake of this very wide and international audience, I think what is important for us to kind of reinforce is about our industry becoming fully aligned in the digital world. So we have alignment with our many years of experience of operating in the physical world. You know, shipping by its nature is an international force, but certainly alignment in the digital world will even make us the greater force that shipping really is throughout economies of the world. And of course, thank you for this opportunity, because it's through mediums like this, the OAS and the CIP, that we have the opportunity to collaborate and of course learn from our colleagues like Victor and Gadi. So thank you very much. It was certainly a pleasure on behalf of Kingston Wharves to be a part of this event.
Thank you. No, thank you to Kingston Wharves, and congratulations again on the leadership really that Jamaica has provided as a whole for the Caribbean in digitalization and in ports operations, knowing that you guys are the most important transshipment hub in that region. So thank you, and best regards to all the team. Victor, my friend.
Well, thank you very much to allow us to share our presentation. Very interesting. I found very interesting Simone and Gadi presentations. Gadi told me that he come to Peru last week, but please call me and we can talk about our CEOs, and maybe you can help us to improve it. Simone,
Perfect. Well, thank you very much. What the SIP does, or at least one of the things we do, is exactly what we did here today, which is knowledge transfer, which is presenting best practices to other SIP members, and in this case, internationally across the Atlantic, to people in Africa, in Asia, and Europe, and this is what we do. So thank you very much. And now, Gadi, for goodbye.
Okay, thank you again to SIP for this opportunity. Thank you for Simon and Victor for your interesting presentations. And Smart Container, as I said, it's something that we can reshape it together. So I call everybody to contact and see how we can do it. So thank you very much.
There we go. Thank you all, and thank you to the audience. Let me make a special thank you to Real ID. Real ID is our technological partner, the people who provide the platform and handle everything. Martin Santillan, Director General, and this is how they contribute to the SIP community by hosting or helping us host this event. So again, visit the portal, get signed up on our mailing list. I put my email on the chat for everybody to see. Write me up if you have an idea or whatever you think we can do. Visit our portal, the webinar section in our portal, and I'm happy to have remembered this. With the permission of these 3 presenters, we will be happy to upload their presentations to our portal so that people can click on them and see them. In the webinar section of our portal, not only will you have access to today's presentations, but you have access to all the presentations ever made in a webinar of the CIP. So if you go in there, you will see webinars on gender equality, on social responsibility, on port security, on sustainable port management, on customs and ports, on innovation, anyway, I encourage you to visit and click on the presenters and the presentations that you are interested on. Again, thank you very much. We'll see you
Thank you.
next time. Hasta la próxima, amigos. Que estén muy bien.
Gracias.
Good night in Europe. Buenas
you.
tardes. Good afternoon over here.